Hello everyone, we are back with another video at the Slip Cordon, and today your usual host Naman Mehta is not here because he's traveling, so I have taken the duty in his absence, and we have Rehan Patel, who is obviously present all the time. Okay, so we'll talk about the evening match, which was between India and South Africa, because I did not watch the England versus Sri Lanka match, so I don't have much to say about it. But Rehan, if you have any thoughts about that match, how did it go, and what went wrong for Sri Lanka today?
Yeah, so both the host countries losing out today. Uh, Very similar types of games. If you see, uh, I think England were 25 runs short. They ended up scoring only 147. At one point, you thought that Sri Lankan bowlers did a fabulous job. The batters did not back them up enough. And you came to know the over reliance of Sri Lanka in terms of Pathum Nisanga and Kushal Mendes. Without them scoring, you don't see Sri Lankan batters actually scoring those many runs. So a big concern for Sri Lanka going forward into the Super 8s. However, their bowlers were very good. England would feel that they have done really well with the ball. And a big credit to Will Jacks. He took the new ball with Jofra Archer today, picked up three crucial wickets. He was the man of the match. But yeah, Sri Lanka would think in hindsight that it was a match that could have been won. 147 is not a big score on any ground. But yeah, if I can say one thing for England, that their batsmen need to again try and build on more partnerships. Butler and Bethel have looked out of form throughout the tournament, so you expect them to play well in the next matches that go on. But yeah, overall, England would be very, very satisfied with the result.
Also, I feel that it was not really good balls being bowled by the England bowlers to which the Sri Lankan batters fell. I mean, they could have easily stitched a partnership similar to how India could have done today in the evening. We'll come to that later, but yeah, Sri Lanka could have stuck around, some of their batters could have stuck around for a little more time because the target wasn't that huge and it was easily chaseable. And also saying that, playing at their home turf, that would have maybe given them some advantage. But anyways, we still have two more games to go for both these teams now, for the respective groups. Okay, so we'll move on to the evening game, which was between India and South Africa. Uh, what do you think? Let's start from the start itself. Like, how did you think the Indian bowlers performed today, and what different that they could have done to make sure that South Africa could not post a big total like that?
I mean, see, you'll have to give credit where it's due to the middle order of South Africa. We were having this discussion whether Bumrah should take the new ball or not. I was of the opinion that irrespective of whichever opposition is there, you need a couple of overs of Jasprit Bumrah in the power play so that he can get those early inroads that will help you to get the opposition batters under pressure. And that's what happened today. The top three did not fire, but the way that Miller and Brevis played, that actually showed the strength of South Africa. Uh, but yeah, what India could have done better is probably a selection change. I don't know why Kuldeep Yadav wasn't picked up into the side. Maybe they could have brought in Akshar Patel instead of a Rinku Singh, back the batters to do the job. Rinku did not seem in place today. He came in very late, did not contribute with the bat. You could have probably picked someone like an Akshar Patel who could have made contributions with both bat and ball. But yeah, I thought both Miller and Brevis took their time, and with the way they played, that total was good enough. They would have felt at the halfway mark. Maybe they could have tried for 200, but at one stage, Kushagra, they were 20 for 3. So that recovery was actually very good. And I think India would have backed themselves to chase the target because after the power play, you could have stitched on a partnership and got close to the target. But then, as Surya Kumar rightly said, you lost quite a bit of wickets in the power play. That brought a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, rightly said, Miller and Brevis, they stitched a beautiful partnership there and they handled the pressure quite well there after losing three wickets in the power play itself. And even in the power play, I think they did quite a bit of recovery. I think they were, I think, 45 or something after the end of six overs. So similarly, India were like, I think 31 for three at that stage in the power play. But yeah, what changes? Like, I mean, I honestly feel that Akshar Patel could have been brought in place of Washington Sundar. Uh, Washington Sundar came in at 5 today to bat. Do you think he is that reliable as a batsman to, play at number 5 in place of Akshar Patel? Or do you feel that Rinku Singh could probably go up the order, Akshar Patel in place of Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel playing at maybe, let's say, 6 or 7? What do you think? How do you see this team shaping up for the next few games?
Yeah, that was actually very confusing to see Washington come in at five. I understand you go in with the left-right combination, but there were already two quality batters in Rinku Singh and Shivam Dube. So I don't understand the logic of Washington being promoted. He has not even had the opportunity to bat in this tournament. So strange decision, not very smart thinking from the management and the captain. Uh, I'm not saying that the result could have been different, but it is just that the approach did not seem very aggressive. It was more of a defensive approach because see, Washington is somewhat of a batter who tries to stitch on to a partnership. And I felt at that stage the required run rate was just going up. You needed someone like a Hardik or a Shivam or a Rinku to counter attack and probably get close to the target as possible. What this has done is that the defeat of margin is close to 76 runs. That's quite a bit of hit when you look at the Super 8 stages. That could hamper India's chances going into the next stage. But yeah, better decisions could have been made. I don't blame the bowling completely. I felt that Varun Chakravarti had an off day today. Usually, he is one of the best bowlers for India, but with the bat again, very disappointing performance by Abhishek. I was backing him actually to have a big score. He hit a couple of fours and sixes, but nothing apart from that. The dismissals have been very soft, if you can say that way. Eden Markram was actually brought in to remove someone like an Abhishek Sharma, but instead Ishan Kishan got out. So, better decisions could have been made. But Abhishek has been
Also, Ryan, do you think was it lack of experience out there in the middle from the Indian batters, or was it just simply reckless batting from the top order? Because I feel, and also, do you think that is it like a point of concern now for India, Abhishek Sharma's form, now that we are into the Super 8s and we've already lost the first game and we have only 2 games left, which are, I think, must win only, because if you have to qualify for the semis, you have to win both these games.
so what this loss has actually done is it has made us question the 11 that we are playing with. There are multiple talks happening that you might see Sanju Samson come back to the side. Akshar Patel might come into the side again. So this victory of South Africa has made us question our decisions and team decision. But the thing that I said in the last video as well, that you cannot have an approach of being a slogger right from ball one. There needs to be a bit more batsmanship that goes in. You need to at least give yourself a couple of overs before you actually break loose. But what Abhishek and Ishan are doing is that they are trying to hit right from the word go. uh, what that does is that gives the opposition a chance to pick up early wickets. That's what's been happening throughout the tournament. It's not that the ball was extraordinary, it's just that the shots have been very poor. Even if you see dismissals of Hardik Pandya throughout the tournament, it's just been him slogging the ball recklessly and getting out. So you can't blame the inexperience. It's just that they have been in this situation many times. It's not good batting.
And one thing that I observed from South Africa when they were bowling is that they were making use of the slower balls quite effectively early on in the power play. We also, like, even Jasprit Bumrah did the same, but then I don't know what changed after that. Miller was just looking like he had been batting on that surface for like a couple of days. And he just came in and he started hitting those boundaries, and that actually set the tone for South Africa for the rest of the game. So, do you think the Indian bowlers could have done anything differently to sort of avoid that partnership from getting to that stage where, the game was possibly out of India's reach?
Yeah, I felt one thing Kushagra they could have done is bring Jasprit Bumrah back in after that 10th over mark, where Brevis and Miller were just starting to look good. Maybe an over from Bumrah could have changed things because, Varun Chakravarti, as I said, was not having the best of days. And I was not sure why you have picked Washington Sundar if you're not going to let him bowl 4 overs. And that was an opportunity. It was a matchup against David Miller. He could have bowled an extra over. Things could have been different. I'm not saying that Miller wouldn't have taken him down. But then again, the matchup of an off spinner versus a left hander, chances of you coming out on top is better. So, bowling wise, decisions also could have been better. The captaincy was not that great today.
See, again, my opinion is that if you are picking one player only for a particular matchup, then I think it's not fair because you could have simply picked Akshar Patel also as a matchup for, let's say, Brevis. You could have done that as well. But anyways, as the captain said, that it was a tactical decision that they made, not picking Akshar Patel today. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the team shapes up for the next clash against Zimbabwe in Chennai. But yeah, do you think India has to do anything differently, or do they should they just stick to what they have been doing over the last, let's say, couple of months? Because I think they've done well as a team, as a T20 team. It's just that today was an off day, and Varun Chakravarti did show up today. The batters were like completely batting recklessly. So, do you think it's time for India to hit the panic button, or just stick to their basics and do what they've been doing so far?
Yeah, I think it's not good for India to hit the panic button, but to reflect on what mistakes that they have done, because they were dominated in all the three facets of the game. Um, and T20 Kushagra is very close. You never know which batter can have a gala day, and teams like West Indies, they are such dark horses that they could actually knock you out of the tournament. So you have to be very careful going forward into the next couple of games. Also you cannot take Zimbabwe that lightly because of the victories against Sri Lanka and Australia. So what India needs to do is to stick to the basics, not really try and change much. Although knowing how this team functions, you might see changes come in. You may not see Washington play the next game. You rightly mentioned Akshar might walk into the side. Uh, Sanju may or may not come. I mean, I don't see any difference whatsoever because Tilak Varma hasn't been in the best of forms, and that strike rate is a big concern. So, how does India deal with it is what we should be looking at. But yeah, a lot for India to think about retrospect. And yeah, the approach has to change, Kushagra, because see, even against the associate nations, their performances were not outstanding. It was just that we got over the line. Yeah, against Pakistan, we beat them convincingly, and we have been doing for so many years. But we have to take opposition seriously.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed in the group stages for India was that it was only one of the batters, like, you know, keeping India out of trouble and, sort of helping them get over the line. It was not the team's performance as a whole that, made any difference as a team. But yeah, I think they should just stick to their basics, as you rightly mentioned. And I think it's good that it's good if they don't hit the panic button at this stage because it's just two games left in the groups in the Super 8s, and they have to win both of these games to qualify for the semis. And it's definitely not going to be easy. Keeping in mind how Zimbabwe has been performing, their current form, they've beaten Australia, Sri Lanka as well, and West Indies also, like, they can beat you on their day, and they've done that in the past as well to India. So India will have to sort of make certain changes and do what they've been doing so far, stick to their basics, and I think they'll be fine. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. All right, guys, we'll be seeing you in another video tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, keep watching our channel, subscribe to our channel, and yeah, that's all. Bye, guys.